Look, Meghan Markle led the birthday tributes to her mum, Doria, this week, following reports that Doria recently moved out of the Sussexes' home. What do we know about their current relationship?
Yeah, I thought this was a really lovely post by Meghan. She put on her Instagram story a lovely photo with her mum, and she just said, "Happy birthday to my beautiful mum." And it was actually, honestly, so refreshing to just see her share something that felt real, because we know that she's very close with her mum. We know that she loves her mum, Doria. And it wasn't an ad, there was no gimmick. It was just a nice post for Doria's birthday. She turned 69. I thought that was remarkable, and she looks amazing. Yeah, there it is. And in terms of their relationship, I do think that there were reports recently that Doria she was previously living with the Sussexes full-time, helping with looking after Archie and Lilibet. She's more recently supposedly moved out back to her own home in Los Angeles. People were reading into that. I don't really think that there's anything there. I think that they do have a great relationship. And if you think about it, throughout this whole period since their wedding, Doria has always been such a kind of classy, graceful person. She's never come close to doing anything that would betray the confidences of Meghan and Harry or cashing in, nothing like that. And what a contrast, because of course Meghan's had so much betrayal from her father, from her half-siblings. So I think Doria really is a tower of strength for Meghan and Harry, and happy birthday.
Yeah. A royal insider has claimed Prince Harry has a list of conditions before a possible reconciliation with King Charles. Do we know what's on Harry's list of demands?
So we've got 3 things on this wish list, supposedly, that would precipitate a possible reunion with King Charles. The first thing would be a reinstatement of the security for Meghan and Harry. We know that this has been a core issue for Harry in terms of not only his relationship with the royal family, but anytime he's come to the UK. Of course, he had that court battle that he lost with the Home Office over security. Supposedly, the top of his list is that he wants that to be reinstated. I mean, I think at this point it would have to be just paid for by the King personally, because there would be no way for them to reinstate it through the sovereign grant or anything. It would have to come from Charles. Second on the list is that Harry wants guarantees that his privacy will be protected. I don't know about that. I mean, kind of maybe implying that, Charles would be doing the leaking. I think that if anyone is leaking to the media and betraying privacy, I don't know. I think the call's coming from inside the house.
Absolutely.
And the third thing, and I think this might be the hardest pill to swallow for the royal family, Harry wants full royal treatment for himself and Meghan.
No.
Curtsies, bows, HRH.
No.
It's a tall task. I don't know. I don't really see this one. I can't see the King going for this, but I mean, supposedly that's his list, 3 things.
They're the demands after, exiting the royal family, flying off to California, all the Netflix deals and the memoirs. My goodness.
Right.
Now, ex-royal butler Grant Harold has shared new details about Harry's romance with Chelsea Davy, including their secret double dates with Will and Kate. Now, of course, what do we think how Meghan Markle will be feeling with these revelations? Is she upset?
I don't think Meghan would like these new details. So, of course, Grant Harold recently released a book, which we talked about. He spoke a little bit in the book about the relationship with Chelsea, but he actually has become even more candid since the book's come out. So he was at a release party for the book recently in the UK. I believe he was talking to GB News, and he spoke about even more about the cosy foursome, this original Fab Four of Harry and Chelsea and, of course, Will and Kate. And supposedly they were so comfortable in each other's company and so relaxed that the 4 of them would just go to the local pub.
Wow.
Right. So it was this sort of cozy relationship where they would do that. I could never imagine Meghan and Harry and Will and Kate in a pub. I don't know about you.
No, I don't think so.
Right. But supposedly with Chelsea, they would hang out in the pub. It was all very cozy. And I think the one line that Grant has said that I think would probably cut Meghan pretty deep is he said that they were a happy family that got along. Very hurtful, but again, it could have all been so different.
Yeah, couldn't it? I know, I've spoken about that before. Isn't it interesting? Royal author Sean Smith has published a brand new biography on Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh. And you recently spoke with Sean. What did he say about Sophie in the new book?
Right, I thought this book was quite interesting. So Sean's basically kind of chronicles Sophie's entire life in the royal family. Famously, she married Prince Edward, Queen Elizabeth's youngest son, in 1999. It was the last royal wedding of the century and very much sort of the end of an era, because before that we had Diana and Fergie, these sort of very polarizing people that came into the royal family, and it all kind of ended in divorce, and it was, you know, so much drama. And I think Sophie was such a breath of fresh air when she came in the 90s. And it's actually really interesting reading the book. You sort of see the parallels there with perhaps Meghan and Harry today. I mean, Sean was very cautious to kind of draw that parallel. I think that he thinks that Sophie's very much someone who sort of stands on her own and has her own identity, but I couldn't help but notice a pattern there. And basically what happened was in 1999, when Sophie and Edward married, I think people forget this because they're such hardworking royals, but at the time they had careers. You know, they were not full-time working royals. They both had professional careers. Edward had a film production company. Sophie had a PR agency. And within a couple years, you know, that all kind of fell apart because there was a sting operation, a newspaper went undercover. They recorded Sophie. She thought she was meeting with a PR client. She was meeting with an undercover journalist. She was caught making comments, disparaging comments about a bunch of public figures, including the then Prime Minister. It was all a big scandal, and it's kind of all been forgotten now. But I think that the lesson from that was that it doesn't work to be half in, half out. And I think it was such an interesting parallel to see that Sophie and Edward, they understood that. They saw that it didn't work. They kind of gave up their careers and they focused on being working royals. And a credit to them, you know, they've never put a foot wrong. The contrast with Meghan and Harry, who basically chose the other one, you know, it was made clear to them you can't be half in, half out. And instead of choosing the life of service, the life of, I think, a more meaningful life, they chose Hollywood. So
Yeah,
it's such an interesting parallel, but a great book. And who doesn't love The Duchess of Edinburgh?
Riley Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us. Great to speak to you.
Thank you.